Hi, everybody. Today's January 28th, and this is the parking committee meeting. Is Roni here?
No.
Roni is not here. Dewan is here, Dominic's here, and Tom is here. So I revised our, what was our working plan, and it's now up on the screen, with our goals. And our goals, and I can't read because I don't have my glasses on.
You want me to read?
Yeah, go ahead. You can just read the big things.
Okay, to create and raise revenue for a dedicated parking bureau and a parking bureau chief. Consolidation of all parking related matters under the parking bureau to be located within the Hudson Police Department, whose job would be to manage parking enforcement, revenue, collection staff, training, envision and implement new solutions to emerging parking issues, be the liaison between the city and hardware and software companies, collect revenue from parking tickets, enforce parking rules, to replace antiquated systems and hardware, to add new kiosk parking. Do you want me to just keep going?
You can just read the things that you don't have to read the currentlies.
Okay, create new parking as new development happens. Ideas, payment in lieu of parking for developers, parking garage, EV trolley, Aspen County, Amtrak, and developers for monetary help.
Okay.
And Roni's here now.
Yay, Roni. And there should be a second page to that. Here's our basic timeline, that's been revised. So in fall and spring is phase 1, which was South Front Street, moving away from permits, and in the spring we should be getting 3 EV charging stations, which are going to require new signage. And then in phase 2, we will be adding kiosks to Warren Street below 3rd. We're adding kiosks to municipal lots on Union Street. And we're also adding kiosks from Worth to Prospect. Oh, thanks. Phase 3, hopefully spring and summer, kiosk placement in municipal lots on Warren Street, and then replacing all of the old meters with kiosks. We're also going to need a kiosk at the Columbia Street municipal lot. And this goes into detail on why the permits were phased out. Keep going. And then keep going. There's a video which I realized when I created this as a PDF or exported it as a PDF does not play, so I will correct that. There's also a comparison of what we will be charging at the Front Street lot in comparison to other towns on the Amtrak line. And we are in line now with Rensselaer. Keep going. These are the maps for where the kiosk placement will be. Keep going. Continued maps of kiosk placement. This is our sad little sign that's now identifies the municipal lot at Warren between 3rd and 4th. We obviously need new signage and branding. Keep going. There's some ideas about signage, or at least new branding. And this is the pricing breakdown for what will change at the end of phase 3. So the South Front Street will now be $10 a day, $50 a week. Short-term parking, municipal parking lots will be 75 cents. Not to exceed 12 hours. And on-street parking will be $1 an hour, not to exceed 2 hours.
Does everybody agree with that, or that's basically what we've
We
discussed so far?
discussed previously, yeah.
Yeah. So that's A-okay with everybody.
Yeah.
Dominic?
So when you said the video, what do you mean the video?
There's a video that shows how you would use text to pay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I got it from the software company.
Cool. No, so that's going to be put on the
That'll be
webpage,
on the web.
on the parking webpage.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any other videos that can be up there, like instructions or whatever on other features, or just text to pay?
That's really the only feature that
Okay.
would need one,
Okay.
you know?
Mhm.
And it's pretty self-explanatory,
Mhm.
so it
Yeah.
shouldn't be that big a deal.
Okay.
It should be okay.
And then the parking lot behind the chamber, that's going to be free parking? Or is that going to be?
No, I think that should be kiosk too, but
But there's not many spots though
yeah,
for kiosks to spend that money. I mean, would it be better to do the meters there? Because
no,
there's not
I
many
don't,
spots?
I think that's a really bad idea. I think we should stick with one system
Mhm.
because it's going to create more bureaucracy
Yeah.
and it'll be harder for parking enforcement.
Mhm.
So I think if we're gonna do anything. we
Permit?
should- No, I think permits, we should do away with
Away with.
completely.
Okay.
All permits, just because that can be integrated into the software that we're going to be using.
Mhm.
And I talked to the software engineer at length about this.
Mhm.
And because it's all based on plate number,
Mhm.
you can be given a preferred parking
Area.
permit, so to speak, a code
Yeah.
that goes with your
Tag.
plate number, and that will give you whatever discount is allocated to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because county, they provide the pass for the county employee next month.
I know, and we should discuss that, whether that should continue or not.
Then Roni and Tom have their hands up.
Hi, Roni and Tom. Who wants to go first? Roni, go first.
Okay, I guess this is just related to the parking lot behind the chamber. I'm not quite sure if I remember if we've had specific discussions regarding that. Just touching base on the fact that you're saying we don't want to create more bureaucracy, would it be, especially if we are increasing pricing for municipal lots near the train station, we want to kind of mitigate overflow going into that lot just if there's not enough signage. Would it just be easier to put signage up saying this is only for chamber, chamber business only, or rather than that, maybe we can even do, like 1 hour or 2 hour max only, which would be harder to police because you don't know how long.
Well, it was suggested, because of 11 Warren Street.
Mhm.
And also because some of the residents that live below Third might want actually to have a place to store their car during the day, that they wouldn't have to move it every 2 hours, or it would just be more convenient for them. I think when it comes to residents, we should have a little bit more leeway. Also, the suggestion was made by Gary, because he works, I guess, at the chamber, and he also was like, okay, as long as we have enough parking for the people that are there, we could reline the rest of the lot. Because the city owns it.
I agree with like providing solace to the residents, but now we run into an issue of how do we police that only residents in that block are using it? Because there was kind of discussion around trying to have like residential permits that people can leverage to have that, but I think forget why we kind of didn't really pursue that, but
Well, we did, and I've already spoken to the software engineer about how to do that, but it would be specific to people over 65 or who had some kind of disability. The other thing was that we also discussed at one point taking the lot that's a gravel lot currently and repaving it. But when I spoke to Rob Perry, it would cost us $175,000
Mhm.
to repave it and line it and then put the kiosks there. So it's a big amount of money, but when we go through all of this and we look at how much is left over from our $400,000 and what we could potentially be making, we could be able to do that.
yeah, it's just I
And
guess
the,
just things that we have to think about. But let Tom.
Tom, sorry,
I mean-
Dominic, did you have something on that point?
What,
Yes.
can
Oh.
the kiosks on State Street cover the area behind, so we don't have to have a separate kiosk just for the chamber?
Yeah.
So can it cover that?
Put it in.
Which,
It's like you're behind the chamber, right? We don't need to have a separate kiosk just for that parking lot. Can the kiosk on, lower Warren Street cover that area
we
too?
could see
If that's
if
correct.
that's possible. I mean, we could have them pay on the first block of Warren.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
so,
so
I
that we
mean,
don't have to buy one more kiosk.
right, because we're talking about limited parking and we're talking about it's free after 5 anyway for the residents, so.
Right,
I'm thinking if that could extend, so we don't have to, I mean, if it's 15 spots, it's 15 spots, but that's better than, having to buy a whole kiosk for
Okay.
there.
well, the kiosks really aren't tremendously expensive when you compare to what
Yeah.
we're going to make that.
Right.
Tom, what were you gonna say?
Two things. One, that one kiosk would cover the entire chamber parking lot.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if that was said or not. Secondly, I just want to say the document you provided is really excellent, and I think it is really great looking forward.
thanks. We appreciate that. Okay, onward. So the next item on the agenda was our outstanding invoice. And after a little bit of back and forth, I now understand who has to pay the invoice, and that would be DPW. I also talked to our salesperson, and he did not include the shipping cost on the invoice. And it was his oversight, so I asked if he could go back to the higher ups and ask for a discounted rate on that, because,
how much is
well,
that?
hold on, let me tell you. It was gonna be $3,600 for the delivery of these things. It's about $250 a kiosk to be delivered. But now I got him to half it, so it's 1,800 now.
That was a very impressive exchange.
Mhm.
Thanks. Sometimes I can be charming while asking for something that's big. But anyway, so he's going to include that $1,800 in the new invoice, which I will then pass to Rob, and he will work with the accounting department on the other end to fix everything and to move it forward. The next item on our agenda is moving revenue collection and parking enforcement into HPD. Can you pull that the crazy picture?
Yeah, let me share my screen again.
Okay. So I wrote to Crystal, our attorney, and asked whether she thought there was any reason legally or ethically for not being able to house the parking bureau revenue collection inside of the HPD, and she said she could think of none. So we've got the go-ahead from our attorney. I then went yesterday with a mask on to visit with Chief Franklin. And she gave me a tour of the entire facility and then showed me where she thought the parking bureau could go. So within one of the rooms that backs up to this picture. So there's a couple of vending machines and a water fountain. And this cubby hole here is about 3 feet or 4 feet, probably by 8 feet. I didn't have a measuring tape with me, so I can't tell you exactly, but that space plus the storage space that exists behind this space, it's gonna be about an 8 foot by 8 foot square. So they're gonna demolish all of this and build out a wall with a window. They have to move plumbing, they have to move electricity, and they have to put in a very expensive window, which I think is probably bulletproof glass. So
Yeah,
it's,
needed.
it's a lot of money. It's going to be $15,413 to do that. But it will give them a space that's much bigger than the space she works in now.
Mhm.
We also discussed while I was there, the division of work. She thought that her assistant Doreen, who has been doing their end of things, could take on more responsibility. And I asked then, well, do you think she could be the parking bureau chief? And she said, yes, of course, she'd have to be compensated. And I agreed that, yes, she should get a bump in pay if we made her parking bureau chief. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I think parking bureau chief would then be a civil service, you have to go with civil service on that, right? If you add that title,
Wouldn't she have already done that if she works for the police department?
not as hard, no, the title's not a parking, I think she's only a clerk, or clerk two or something. So if you add a title, it have to be a civil service title.
Okay,
So it could be, you might have to call for a test, or it could be promotional. So I would see like civil service does that by adding, that position as a title.
Yeah.
okay, but what does that do something to our timeline? Does that do something to
I mean,
budget that's
well, the
gonna be
budget
a
would be that,
constraint?
well, the
or-
budget would be that when that title could come, obviously with more money, right?
Yeah,
All right, so,
which if you're giving anybody more work, they should get a little bit.
no, but I'm saying the title itself could come with more money.
More money plus it's,
Right.
then
So,
involved with the retirement plan and everything, all kind of stuff.
right, so, I mean, you could probably do it, with, same, as this is working through, right? Work with civil service, to create that title, because you're creating a new title, basically,
Okay,
right? Because if you go to clerk two, right, depending on, what the responsibilities for clerk two, her responsibilities now might change, right? In
Yes,
terms of
yeah.
supervising staff and things like that. So it makes sense to be the parking bureau chief, but it was just to see, again, the timeline, and it could be a temporary, thing until the test is done. right?
Okay.
Or, right,
Could you look into that for us?
sure.
That'd be great. Because you seem to know a lot about that already. So, all right, that would be great. So, cool. On to the next thing, which is a consultant or an interim parking bureau chief. And this was the job description that I revised based on Kevin Wood sent us a proposal for, here's what I would do if I were the consultant. So I revised what he sent, and this is what I came up with, based on our specific needs. Do you guys have this one?
The one you sent today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, So how do you feel about that? Is it something that you think we need? I do actually, based on what I know about what's going to change and what needs to happen. Also based on his experience, I kind of do think we need someone for at least a month or two to help the transition, and also someone to be around to work with T2.
See, I think you're right, but I think that it should be like quarterly, right? 3 months
Yeah,
contract,
3
3 months
months.
contract.
Yeah.
Because again, after 6 months, it'd be like,
No,
Doreen,
that's
they
why,
could be, we got it under control, right? Yeah. so-
right, yeah, it should not go on for more than 3 months, I think.
Right.
If we can start the process, if we can get to phase 2,
Mhm.
hopefully everyone will be trained, hopefully everything will be set up. And then we won't need anyone after.
Now, is he gonna be totally remote, or is he gonna be here?
I want him to be here occasionally, so we would probably have to pay for his gas, his transportation, whatever.
Where's the commute coming from?
Port
Jervis?
Jefferson in Long Island?
Port Jefferson, yeah.
Jefferson.
Yeah,
Does this proposal come with a cost associated?
yes. It's, if you read what I sent today, it's $2,500 a month plus whatever travel expense.
See it.
From you.
Well, I'm hoping the travel expense, he would opt Amtrak.
Or he can just drive.
Well, I would think Amtrak would be cheaper,
No,
no?
No,
no, not necessarily.
depend on what time you travel.
Yeah, I guess.
It would also be slower from Port Jeff because it would require like 3 different train changes.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, well, you had to hit probably Croton, hop on Croton, right? From
It would
Yeah.
be
It'd be Long Island Railroad
it
to,
would be a long,
It's
major.
gonna take 4 to 5 hours just to traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So I think if he drove, it would be better.
3.5 hours.
Still a ferry?
No,
No,
So we're gonna, out of the 3 months, are we just gonna ask him at least once a month to do it? Give him some kind, because, you would think you would need to be here.
he would need to be here when installation occurs. I'd like him to be working
Mhm.
specifically with DPW. And
I'm assuming he's gonna come, stay a couple of days somewhere.
and work with,
Right.
for the training of the staff that will be using the new software. He should be here for that. That's one thing that I think he should definitely be here for. He should also understand and know that well enough to be able to help them through the iffy points.
Mhm.
So, and that's what he said he would do within his initial proposal.
Yeah, because I'm thinking $2,500, that could double with the expense. Right?
Well, that depends.
yeah, travel and board because it would be a 6-hour round trip, which would necessitate overnight stay.
Yep.
At least.
Good thing I know people that have
Airbnbs?
places to stay.
Airbnbs?
Yes. And usually they're good to me.
okay.
But I don't know, do you want to think about it? I told him that I would talk to him at some point, and he's been very enthusiastic, and he's been contacting Tom and I, and I've been kind of pushing him back because we hadn't really discussed it yet. But I feel like I need to give him some kind of answer.
Well, that's why I think with a 3-month commitment, we're not locked in, you know what I mean? And then we see what it looks
And
like.
that's what I told him initially when I spoke to him. I don't think we'll need you for more than 3 months.
Now, how many hours does 2,500 a month get, a week or whatever? Is there?
Well, with all of the things within that document that I sent you guys, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know.
No, we just
So-
try to figure out how many hours or how many days a week or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's based on a 40-hour week.
I don't think so.
I don't think
He's
so.
actually the president of the New York State Transportation and Parking Association or some crap. So I don't know that he's going to devote every
Yeah.
hour of his
Mhm.
work week to this. But with all of the responsibilities that are on that, I'd imagine it's going to be a good portion.
So,
What
but,
is
but what I'm, but this is the $2,500 is based on, you know, what you put down, but it's not based on how many hours committed.
I
Some
think,
people-
Dominic, usually consultants don't charge. I mean, if they do charge hourly, they charge hourly, and this is the flat fee, it would probably,
A flat rate. Yeah.
Okay, so.
And some people
time.
can do the same job in less time than others, but this
Yeah.
is a lot of work
Yeah,
that we're asking.
Yeah, no,
for.
yeah.
So,
I think we should have it because, you know, this is a new system, everything new and, everybody need to learn on that, so.
And we need that transition into the police
Yes,
department.
yeah,
Yes.
so I think we should.
so
I think the agreement, if I may chime in again, I think the agreement
Yeah.
should entail some sort of checkpoints, like month one, we would like these things completed, month two, we would like these things completed, because just going off of what Dominic is saying, we cannot really police how many hours this consultant will be putting in, but we can say this is kind of what we expect to be done within this time frame. And then
within this,
he can either come back and say that, yeah, that's a feasible ask. If not, he can say, I would need more time or whatever.
he
is that-
within the agreement said that he would be updating us with what he had gotten accomplished weekly in writing. So, but we can absolutely do that and say this needs to be done week one. This, in
Well,
fact,
yeah, we call that a work plan.
in fact, I've already written a few things down here at the bottom that are immediate upcoming tasks that one of them, if we do not do within the next month, we will be charged.
Yeah.
So that's becoming PCI compliant.
Right.
Well, that's a signage.
No, PCI compliant is, what does it stand for? Payment Card Industry
Oh, gotcha.
Security. So we have to, it's a federal thing. So if we don't comply with this immediately, then the government's coming for us. The larger government.
So we already have that deadline. We could put right in there, that deadline
Yes,
for that.
I mean, and the other things, if we don't do them, then if we don't, come up with branding and signage design now and start the process, then they won't be ready for when we go
Right.
to install the kiosks. So those things have to happen immediately.
Yeah, now how are we going to design the branding?
Well, I was a designer in my former job, so I don't have a current Photoshop. I don't have it anymore, so I can't do it, but I can probably get to someone who does and do it with them. I would love it if you have suggestions. I have suggestions from Kim on some of the signage language. But for instance, I'm sorry I wasn't here for a normal meeting because I was traveling. I was actually on an airplane. But sorry.
Jennifer, don't you think the consultant might be able to help with that since he has implemented a broad plan in Port Jefferson? Wouldn't that kind of fall under his, purview?
Yeah, but he probably
Don't load yourself.
probably hired a consultant or a
but I-
freelancer to make the signs.
Well, see, my concept for branding, we're going to have to put what we have to put, but are we going to customize it to Hudson? Like, I mean,
Yes.
I'm old school with the whale, right? So, but I mean, are we going to customize it to Hudson?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing that. It's
Oh.
right here.
Okay.
No, we're gonna use the real one. I've already gotten the artwork for the whale.
Yeah.
And I have it. I just need to find a copy of Photoshop and do it.
Mhm.
But if you have suggestions for language for some of the signs, like, I know I wasn't here for the formal meeting, but, Roni, you had suggestions about, signage for the EV,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so if you've got language that you want to send me, yeah, do it. I can start working on that.
And regarding the Photoshop piece, Jen, I'm not sure if you're familiar with like websites like Canva. They're pretty,
Yeah,
and they're a lot
Oh.
less expensive than Photoshop. But
some of it's free. Canva's
Yeah.
free. I could use
a lot of
that.
it's
Thank you
free,
for
but some of the tools
reminding-
require. That's
Thanks for reminding me.
It's usually like $10 or $15 a month. Same thing with Photoshop. It's not like if you buy the software, it's thousands. But if you get like a monthly subscription, it's $10, $20, $30,
And
which
then
would
I'll
be a
forget.
lot easier to submit to the council for approval than $1,000 for a one-time use fee.
Mm-mm. Well, I'll figure it out and I'll get back to you guys, but I have to start working on it now, obviously. I don't want our consultant to say to us, let's hire a branding expert to do this when I think we can do it ourselves. I can come up with a couple of things and show you guys, but if you can help me with language, that would be great. So.
And
Donna,
I
you
almost think we should get a quote for what a consultant would cost and what Jennifer Belton, the council member, is saving.
Well, yeah, what, you want to give me a tip or something?
No, but I think that, especially now that there's discussion around how much wastage there is by having 10 council members, it's important to highlight what the amount of work that we do for the pay that we get.
Yes, thank you for that, Roni. The timing of the project, I think the timing is going to get slightly pushed back, but again, we need to have Rob in the room for that. I'm going to invite Mr. Perry and Chief Franklin to the next meeting, along with the consultant, if we've all agreed that we should hire him. And so that we're all in one room and we're all discussing what needs to happen and how quickly it should happen and in what order. Have we also agreed to building the new office space?
I think it's gotta be, I mean, if
It's
we
gotta
expect it, yeah,
happen.
I mean, if we're expecting, it to be there, I mean, the only way to be there is make it accommodating to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think, again, what we put in front, right? We're gonna hopefully get back
We're
at
gonna
the other
get
end,
back.
right, you know what I mean? So it's more of the investment
Yes,
in upfront,
yes.
and making it a doable, environment.
Well, if we think about it this way, we are doubling the number of spaces in town by just doing phase 2 of this.
You mean from third to first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Upper Warren.
yes, right,
So,
right.
just by doing that, we've doubled revenue, maybe,
Mhm.
hopefully. So, we will eventually, and pretty quickly, I think, make this money back. But I did, my husband is a construction guy, and I did show him this quote, and he's like, we couldn't do it for that, so this is a great quote.
So where do you get the quote from?
Her quote came from, she gave it to me. CB Quotes, I don't know. Project management, blah, 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 we recommend,
Jennifer, it's from Cloverick Builders.
Corporate Builders, thank you.
Cloverick Builders.
Hi,
You
Nick.
can't recognize
Hi.
Nick's voice?
Thanks, Nick.
No problem.
Corporate-
That's
Yeah.
a pretty good, yeah,
So, yeah,
For that, for what, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they're moving water and electricity
Yeah,
and they're
everything.
putting in a giant window that alone costs $2,000. So I think, yeah, I think this is a good quote.
Mhm.
No, it's just, this location is just, it's gonna be accessible from the lobby?
Yes.
Okay.
So you would walk in,
This is the like, you know, the waiting area.
Yeah.
When you go inside.
We're by the bathroom.
Yeah, by the bathroom, and there's an entrance from the police station,
Mhm.
like an officer goes through the.
Yeah.
Next to that door.
Okay, gotcha.
so yes, so when you enter the police station, it will be on the left side.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a good spot.
I think.
No, I
is
think it's
too.
perfect. Yeah, no, access, yeah, no, and then it's not
I love-
interrupting the other, Yeah.
I loved the thinking around this too, especially after she showed me the entire interior space. And then showed me, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this closet, we're gonna take this space
Yeah.
and then create a new room. And I was like, that was really good thinking. So, yeah, so how does the payment of this happen? Tom? Tom, are you still there?
Yes, the payment, could come
I
out of
think we
this.
still have to go get 3 quotes, right, Tom?
I'm sorry, I'm not
we have
sure
to
which payment, you're talking about working on the police station?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me check. Maybe they're part of Sourcewell, and if they're part of Sourcewell, you do not need 3 quotes, but
Right,
okay.
okay, yeah.
Okay, because this is the
Jennifer,
only
I have
one.
something on that as well.
Okay, Nick, go ahead.
We spoke with Rob Perry before we received that quote because we had asked DPW if they could do the work. They just don't have the manpower or the skilled manpower to do it at this
Okay.
time. And my understanding from Rob was anything under $30,000 with construction does not need to go out to bid.
Okay, great.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. All right, great. So can I tell her to move forward with this?
Well, I think we're gonna need a resolution, right?
Yeah, we
Okay.
have to have resolution for.
All right, can we get this on the agenda or the next
Yes.
meeting? When's that? Okay. Do you want me to send you a copy of this?
yes,
Tom?
please. Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right. I wrote on it, but I'll send it to you. It's only one number. Does anybody else have anything new that you want to add?
No, I think it's, once this weather breaks, I think it's gonna be exciting to see it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I think it's a good plan and I think we've all worked hard on it and, yeah,
So the EV charging station, you said, how many, 3 of them?
there's 3, but there's 6 ports. So what they would have to do is place them in one of the areas that have cars facing each other.
Okay,
And there is an area like that, so.
this, because, Rich getting some, that's.
That's
top
the
of
same one.
Oh, same,
Same,
yeah,
same.
okay, so
Yeah.
it's part of
Yeah.
the Rich.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thanks, CAC.
Just a quick question.
Yes,
So with the tag that's to the plate, you buy a longer term thing, will the resident or the person parking have the ability to switch between vehicles?
it would be specific to that plate number. So every time, so if you have 2 cars, let's say you're lucky enough to have 2 cars. When you go to the kiosk to pay again,
Yeah.
you would pay and at the kiosk the first time, and then you could pay the rest of the time on your phone as a text pay.
Right.
Next car, the second car, you'd have to do the same thing. If you are a resident with 2 cars, you're going to have to, and you are someone with a disability or you're someone that's over 65, you would have to come and register both cars with the parking bureau. And then they would have both of your tag numbers. Does that make sense, right?
Yeah, it's not currently the way it works though, I don't think, because you just got something behind on your windshield.
No, we're not doing that anymore. Because,
Well, you're doing two different things, right? You got two different things. You're thinking two different things, right? You're thinking handicap parking, right?
yeah, that's a whole different
Yeah,
ballgame.
this parking is for anywhere in the city, doesn't have to be handicap parking, that you will get that discount. If you park on Warren Street, whatever, it goes with that tag. If you require handicap parking, you're still gonna need that placard
Yes,
in your vehicle
yes,
to park in handicap parking,
yes.
right?
Well, I wasn't thinking of handicap parking, because currently you can move the cab from one vehicle to the other, and you're saying that's not gonna be part of the new scheme.
No, because it's not, it has nothing to do with that tag, it has something to do with the license plate. Right? It's a
Yeah.
license- yeah.
It's all license plate.
Yeah, the tag is totally different, because you don't want to lose that tag, right? Because that tag works other places out in the city of Hudson, right? So that's why you don't want, you're still gonna need that tag.
Well, I'm not looking at handicap, I'm just talking about the current permit system.
Yeah, no more permits.
No, yeah,
It's
okay.
all gonna be via this,
License plate.
new system, which is all based on license plate.
This kind
So
of brings up a good question. Are we going to allow elderly person or someone who is disabled more than one discount per person?
What do you mean?
Why would you need that?
Isn't that what he's asking about? Like if you have like, that's what I thought that's what we were discussing. If they have two
If
vehicles.
you have two cars,
Yeah.
the same person owns two
Yeah.
cars.
I think it would probably be better if we talk to T2 and say they can only utilize one discount at a time. Why should we allow, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I
what?
don't want to sound mean,
suggest-
but like one person doesn't need two vehicles to have a discounted rate.
You know what Ronnie
No,
said?
but
Okay.
you can
suppose
only
you have-
drive one car at a time.
Suppose you have two cars,
Yeah,
right, and you get discount.
yeah.
But Ronnie saying like, you can use the discount code for same time for two car. Like you go on a Warren Street in Park, right, with your
Uh-huh.
car, and you get discounted, right?
Yeah.
Discounted price. But like, if you get the other car and come to the Warren Street, then you try to use the discount again. Maybe suppose your husband drive your other car.
Well, the husband has to register for the discount,
No,
not
that-
the wife, right?
No.
That's what I mean. Per person, it should be one vehicle that's allowed. Obviously,
You
if
know what?
there's multiple disabled / elderly people, they should have multiple cars. I don't want to police that, but I don't think one person should need the ability to have two vehicles that are discounted. One
Yeah,
driver.
I get what you're saying, because if it goes to the registered owner, right, it's only gonna be owner of that vehicle, but if their son drives it,
Yeah.
they're still gonna be entitled to that discount because it's tagged to that registered owner.
Yeah, that's why Ronnie talking about.
Yeah,
Because the discount.
Same thing happens with the permits.
The permit issue only one permit, not two, so. That's-
They could take it out of one car and stick it on another.
Yeah, because we've been using the only one.
They're also forging them at this point. So I'm just saying, none of this is perfect, but
I know, but.
I can ask them about that, but people are gonna get furious at that.
I agree.
No, I
but-
mean, I don't see why a person could have the expectation to have more than one vehicle. If you have two elderly people in your household, yeah, you can register two vehicles, but one person should not have the ability to register multiple vehicles for a discount, is my point.
right.
Okay, so, well, we'll just make that part of the protocol.
Yeah.
But I was bringing up a completely different issue.
What?
Nothing to do with handicap or discount.
No, we are talking about just a regular
I was
discount.
talking about the two vehicles.
Yeah, that's what we're talking
And
about.
being able to switch between them.
So what Roni was just saying and what Dewan brought up is that you shouldn't be able to register two vehicles. You would only be able to register one for
Per
a
household.
discount per household.
I'm not even looking at the discount. Okay, so there would be no conveyance to another vehicle is what you're
Oh.
indicating.
Because it's on the license plate, not a tag. It's not a physical tag, it's on the license plate.
I know it's gonna take a legislative often.
But why would it not be possible to have a key into a tag on their system, a number or an identifier? And
Because that's not the way it
We're
works.
just not going that route. We're just not going that route.
Yeah.
And so what's gonna happen with the 2-hour limit for the construction workers in the city?
They can get a special dispensation also related to their
Right.
tag. That I've also talked to them about. So,
They have to register for that construction vehicle.
Yeah.
Then they could get the construction vehicle privilege.
But if they have multiple construction vehicles,
They have to.
then they're
register
gonna have to
multiple.
register all of them.
And I think, didn't we say something about it's gonna be time frame too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anybody online with questions?
I think that cat had one.
Everybody's better, he just left over.
Roni, did you wanna,
No, that's.
Comment again?
Yeah.
Sound good.
okay. All right, are we good? We're all set?
We're good. I make a motion to adjourn.
Yay.
Okay, all right, let's go.
All right.
thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for all the work, Jen.
You're welcome.